Pee-pee. You crazy see me. What a kitty. Welcome to the 9 Lives podcast. I'm your host, Crazy Avey, aka Anne-Marie Avey. Right, Pee-pee? You Pee-pee? He's so cute. He's been following me around all day, right, Pee-pee? As he looks away and proves me wrong. Makes me look like a liar every time. Well, I'm really happy that you guys are here today. Thank you for joining me. Let me just say that already. What happened this week? What happened this week? It's been a weird week. Like, everything that happened to me has been so fucking extra, I can't even explain. But I'm gonna fucking try. I think I last time we did this on Monday. So yeah, you guys don't know, but I went salsa dancing last Monday. And as a result, I left my card at the bar, at the club. Okay. And so the next morning, I realized this when, as I'm dropping Papa Puff Pants off for dental surgery. Did you guys see how he looked at me when I said his name? He knows his name. He's so good. He's so smart. Good boy, Pee-pee. You're so smart. You a smart little boy. Anyways, he was going for dental surgery. And I drop him off, or no, I go to pick him up, and that's when I realize I don't have my card, and the surgery's already done, and I was like, oh, I don't have my debit card. I left it at the club last night. And like the vets were like, okay. And I'm like, my credit card doesn't have enough money on it. I can transfer money on it, no problem. But it takes, like, in order to transfer money on a credit card, it takes like a couple, like a day or two to clear, depending, right? So I was like, well, you know what? The club opens at 8. Why don't I come back? They're like, okay, yeah, go ahead and take him home. Come back at 8 after the club opens. Get your card, come back. I'm like, great. So I'm at the fucking club, right at 8 p.m. No one's there. I wait till 9:30 p.m. No one's there. No one's answering. Nothing. This was a Tuesday. Now, I don't understand what our policy was or whatever, but I was like, fuck. So I called the vet and I was like, the club's not open. Like, it says it's open on their website, but the club's not open. Ma'am, I'm sorry, I cannot pay tonight. She's like, okay, well, I'm like, I'll go tomorrow. Like, I'll just keep you posted. Hopefully by then the credit card will run through. You know, I'm just like all this shit. And I just sound like an alcoholic. I just sound like a fucking alcoholic. Oh, I went Monday night salsa dancing and left my card at the bar and all night. And I didn't even realize till I came to pick up my cat from dental surgery. Like, I mean, it just sounds so fucking stupid. So then I go the next night. No one's there. No one's answering. I'm on their website. I'm sending them messages. No one's returning anything. Told them again. I was like, unfortunately, it's not going to happen today. And we tried my credit card. Didn't work. So what are you going to do? So finally it was Friday. Finally, on Friday, I went to the club to get my debit card, and then I paid, and everything was fine. But it was such a fiasco. Like, it was just so complicated. Then, that Friday, I freaking go to, I'm going up to Malibu. I need to pull over and get gas. I go to get gas. Left my fucking purse at home. So I had no money and I was on empty. Like, I'm that bitch that rides till empty. I don't fucking fill it up at half or a quarter. I'm like, I cannot stand. Like, I'm like, I want to use all the gas that I paid for and then I'll fill it up again. I'm that bitch. And unfortunately, when I've driven about 45 minutes out of town and I pulled over without a penny to my name, it doesn't come in handy when you think like that. So I called Austin. Austin eventually answered, and he drove down and got my card, and it was fine. And shout out snaps to Austin today. This is what we used to do in my sorority, like when we'd have meetings on, I think it was Monday night meetings or something. Sunday night, Monday night, one of those. And instead of clapping, it's like too loud and it disrupts, you would snap. So you'd snap if you agreed with someone. So if someone was talking and they're like, we really need to, add, I don't know, internet to the house, people would be like, yep. Mm-hmm. They do that little snap like, amen. I'm just saying. So we're giving snaps to Austin today. I do like that. It's like the one thing I really like about the sororities, the snapping. I still do that. Like, even if I'm watching TV and I see someone and I'm like agreeing with what they're saying, I'm like, good. Like the Bake Off, I saw like a bread that I liked. Oh, wow. Wow. I still do it. It's a habit I will never break. Now, let me talk about that last podcast that we had. It's called Burping for Cash. And we're almost at 2,000 views. And I was like, here's the update. This guy who lives in France wants to pay me money for burping. I was supposed to talk to him today and I chickened out. Now, why did I chicken out? And I'm actually interested because there was a really interesting comment on the last. Let me just catch you up if you haven't been listening to the podcast or have no idea what this is. There is a fetish of burping, and they like watching girls burp. It turns them on. And what I've researched and what I've talked to and what people's comments are is it's like long, hard burps turn a guy on. Or not all guys, but this with this fetish. This guy wanted me to talk to him for like some time, like a little bit of time, and just burp while I'm talking to him. He was like, it's like a mukbang. I just want to talk to you and then you just kind of burp. And I was like, I can do that. Like, you know what I mean? I was like, I'm on board for that. I could do that. I just talk and I burp. And if you happen to get turned on, now you're not touching anything in front of me. There's none of that shit. You can do whatever you want after you get off the phone with me. But there was something about like, I would love to have some extra cash. I am in need of some money at the moment, and I would love to put that towards what I'm doing, and like more projects that I'm doing. And it's something that doesn't take too much time, and I'm not doing anything sexual. You know what I'm saying? So there was like this thing. I'm like, yeah, why not? And I'm like, and I got to thinking about fetishes. And why is it's called a fetish? Because it's something that's like, not really, no, I don't want to say normal. Like, it's a specific niche. It's a sexual niche, right? So it's like a fetish that's like maybe not that common or something like that. I was like, why is this like even when someone says the word fetish, we automatically, at least me, this is me talking, I automatically think it's something weird. I assume fetish means kind of weird, when you associate those words. And I think it's because like I'm pretty conservative. I'm actually very conservative when it comes to like sexual things or whatever. I feel like I'm more on the conservative side. I'm very open with my partner. Like once I get a boyfriend, I'm down. Like once I trust you, game off. And I was like thinking about it and I'm like, if like, let's say I had a husband and then he like comes forward with like a fetish, right? And he says like, I just really want to pee on you. Okay, let's use that one. And I'm like, this man loves me, trusts me, is good to me, pays my bill, or not pays my bills, but like, you know what I mean? Helps provide, is an emotional support, all these things, gave me children, you know, there when my cats are, you know, all the shit. And my husband comes forward and is like, look, I actually have this secret piss fetish and I'd like to pee on you. I'd be like, oh God, let's do it. because I'm someone that's like, my husband does a lot, or my boyfriend that I know that whatever, like I want them to be pleased on some level because they give me so much. You know what I mean? Now, does that mean I'm just going to let this guy pee on me every other day and like forever? No, but I'm going to try it out and then I'll see if I'm comfortable, you know, or indulge every once in a while. Like, because there's like, that's his thing. You know what I mean? My thing is cats. So I'm like, and it's not sexual, but it might be a lot to, you know, to some people. But I guess what I'm saying is like, I guess it's like, is it really that? I don't know how it started. I don't know what's going on. But like when I think of fetish, I think of kind of weird. And then I think of like the people who have fetishes and I'm like, are they weird? Or are they like just hidden down because society thinks they're weird? And there was this really great comment on my last podcast that I really enjoyed. And I'm going to hopefully I can bring it up right now. I really enjoyed it because it gave me a different perspective. I love seeing perspectives through other people's eyes. Even if I disagree with you, I like to see how something turns you on. I like to see where it started. I like to understand you better. Even if I disagree or don't understand, like I love to see how other personalities interpret life. It's something I've always been intrigued by. So, let me look this up really fast on my shit. But, so anyways, I chickened out doing this burp thing. And I think a lot of women, I think there are women that wouldn't have chickened out. And I think there are some women that would have chickened out. And one of the reasons why I am in the category of a woman that chickens out is because I believe like I have some issues based on like some sexual abuse that I've been through. And because of that, I think I'm super hesitant. Anytime a guy looks at me too long or whatever, I shut down. I don't want to look at him. I don't want to deal with it. Right. And I think like a lot of women have that. I think a lot of women have like this thing that you give away your power if you engage in anything, like if you let a guy or look back at a guy or let a guy do something to you that's somewhat degrading or whatever, you're like giving their power away, whether it's just in a sexual fun way or not. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's a very, for me, it like, it's rooted deep inside me, right? Like I get anxiety about it. And there's my comedian side that is like about this burping thing that I'm like, fuck that. Like you got to go to the moon with this shit. Like you got to, if I had a fucking burp only page and like I just burped for cash and that was like my main, I would fucking like that. I think I could totally make a really good stand-up comedy special on that shit, right? But then there's like my Pisces thing that is like, if I get to know these guys, I don't know if I can make fun of it because I get to know them and then like I understand who they are and then I like don't want to talk about it and then I like, it's no longer funny. Like, no, he's had a really hard time in his life and like, he just needs a girl to burp for him every once in a while. He's kind of like, you know what I mean? Like I'm both those people. So to like move forward 100% on something like this is really strange for me. And I want to do it, but then my body like literally freezes up. And I think it's because of like what I've been through in my life. And I want to change that because I don't want my past to dictate my future. I don't want my past sexual experiences of whatever bullshit any guy's ever fucking done to me or given to me or anything like that. I want to override that and still be free. You know what I mean? I still want to explore freely. I still want to be open and I can feel myself shut down. Like my whole body shuts the fuck down. And I don't want to do that anymore because I want to be open to people. I mean, you got to be discerning, obviously. Like you don't want to just walk into something blindly and then just stay there after they make you uncomfortable, but like you have to take your power back and know that you are always in control. No matter what someone says to you, no matter what, even if this guy gave me money, if I was on the phone with him and I didn't felt uncomfortable, I'd fucking hang up and block him and never do it again. You know what I mean? But there's something in my mind that's like, no, I feel obligated to do this because he did pay for that, even though he didn't say that until later. Or maybe what if I get in this situation and then I'm like stuck there? And it's like, no, Anne-Marie, you're not stuck there. That's what you thought before. That's the shit from your past of like getting abused, all that kind of shit. You know, that's the old mental way of thinking. The new thing is that you are in charge. You can say no. You can fucking hang up, you can block people, you can do whatever you want. And I think that's why there's like a part of me that really wants to engage in this to prove that it's on my terms, even though it's not even sexual. It's not even fucking sexual to me. But like, I'm overthinking it so much. So anyways, there's this, I'm going to read what this guy wrote on the last podcast, okay, Burping for Cash. And he wrote, me personally, I have a massive burping fetish, but it is not super sexualized, which is interesting, right? I do not want nudity or anything crazy. Just something about an attractive female burping loudly is so impressive for some reason. If the girl is hot enough, like you, for example. Thank you so much. And the burp is loud enough. It is indeed an extreme turn on. Where did this come from? I have no idea. I have vague memories of me being in daycare and some girl was belching extremely loudly on command and we were all laughing. Maybe that did it. The problem is it only works for me if the volume of the burp is relatively loud. No offense, but your burp was kind of small. LOL. I think I burped really small on like a half-ass burp on the last podcast. But I found that really interesting. It's not super sexualized. It's just a turn on. And so I'm kind of learning, like that's why I guess I'm talking about this. Why am I talking about this? I guess I'm talking about this because I always kind of like considered myself, even though I'm like, I'm more conservative out of all my friends, I believe, than most. I had like I would say a hoe phase when after probably like around 18, 19, which would make sense because that's around when a lot of shit happened in my life. So around like 18 or 19, I kind of like went into like a little bit of a hoe phase. But after that, since the first time I fell in love, I've not done that. Like I can't just hook up with anyone. I can't just go on like one-nighters. It doesn't make me feel good, so I don't do it, right? So I'm more conservative. And because I'm more conservative, but I'm open, like I don't give a fuck. Like my best friend, could do a million things with a million guys. And I'd be like, tell me about it. Fascinating. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't care. Like, I don't care what you do. It's just something that I notice my feelings about it, so I don't engage. But I'm not saying I want to change me being a hoe, but I'm interested in exploring those feelings of like getting turned down, like turning down so much. But shit, I lost my train of thought. Man, what was I gonna say? I don't remember what I was gonna say, and I'm really upset by that. That's okay. Austin, you really got to pay attention. You got to listen to me talk. You really got to listen to me talk about burping fetishes because I really need your guidance on this. But what I was going to say, so fetishes as a thing in general, and like when does it turn a fetish? Like, for example, is like for me when I'm in bed with somebody that I really love or whatever, what I like is like usually like talking. I like to like talk or like, you know what I mean? Not like how's your day, but like dirty talk a little bit. Or I like being someone who's aggressive. I don't necessarily like to be the aggressor all the time, So is that a fetish? Or that's a turn on? Because this guy said this fetish is a turn on, but it's not super sexualized. So I guess what I should fucking do right now for all of us, I know this is the 9 Lives podcast and stuff, but this is the thing. We're going to go into layers because I think a lot of cat ladies are out there. They're kind of like cats themselves, right? And I think we all... Like, I'm not like an Amber Rose. You know what I mean? You don't see my tits out and I'm like walking the slut walk and I'm like, selling vibrators. Like, I'm not that girl. That's okay if you are. If you're that extreme and you like want to talk about it openly everywhere you go and you're like, it's in your face and it's your lifestyle and you're a stripper and everyone needs to be on, like, that's fine if that's who you are. It's not me. Like, I'm a little bit more private in that area, which is why I'm kind of talking about it today. Cause I think like there are a lot of women out there who might be private, but also like want to explore with someone that they love. Like, you know what I mean? Like, because it shouldn't be so bad, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So let me look up the word fetish in general. Fetish dictionary. Because I want to see a form of sexual desire in which gratification is linked to an abnormal degree to a particular object, item, or clothing. Or part of the body. Okay, so it's something that's different. Victorian men developed fetishes focusing on feet, shoes, and boots. Yeah. I guess it's okay. So then dirty talk wouldn't be a fetish, but it has to do with my mouth. Like, why is burping a fetish? If it has to do with... See, this is where I'm like, I want to get to the bones of this shit. I want to get to the bones of this shit because it's like, okay, so I did this like little poll on my Instagram, like, should I burp or not? And 85% of people said yes. And there was 15% that said no. And then the 15%, most of them messaged me on why I shouldn't engage. And I'm all about listening to like hearing what people say. And one of the reasons was that you're better than that. That was just a reason. You're better than that. Better than what? And I'm actually kind of getting like serious about it because I want to be like, why do people have fetishes in the first place? Why is it bad? Why does it look down upon? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I don't necessarily like want to sit here and talk fetishes all day, every day. But I definitely think like the stigma of what it is should be lifted a little bit more. If you're not hurting anyone and you're like in a safe environment and no one is making you feel bad and you don't feel bad afterwards either, like you're guilty bullshit or like whatever. If you just, then why can't it be okay? And like for me to get money too, why is that bad? Like, you know what I mean? Like if someone is like, no one does this for me. I date a girl and the second I bring up a burping fetish, she pieces out, right? I'm lonely, but I also don't know how to talk to women that well. What if I paid you and you could just talk to me and burp? Like if we're all truly connected on this world and if we're all truly like under one God or like, right, let's get religious about it just to like hit that note for everyone listening on some level. If you're religious and spiritual, then on some level, it's some expression of God, right? If everything is God, then fucking include the fetishes. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, and I want to know why in America, I feel like in America in particular, we're one of those countries that speak and say everything and do so much, yet we're so conservative at the same time. And it's really fascinating to me. I don't know. I don't really know how to like move on from this because I'm so interested. I wish I was doing like a live stream right now so I could like hear your comments and like hear your interaction because I'd love to like if you had a question, then I could answer it more specifically and give you my thoughts because I think it's good to be open about it. But I think I am going to do it. I think I'm going to talk to this guy and I'm going to do this. I'm going to try it out. I'm going to do one call. I'm going to do one call and then I'm going to come back and talk to you about it because I normally would not do that. You know what I mean? I normally wouldn't do it. I normally would not. I'd be shut down automatically, but I'm kind of curious. It just got me really curious about it. And I would like to report back. I'd like to report back for you. You know, the things I do for you guys. I burp for money just to get the inside scoop for you. By the way, FYI, if you're in Philadelphia, there was a bug heist at this museum where they stole 7,000 bugs, including poisonous spiders, and they're gone. Alive. While the business was open? I don't know about that. No, I don't think the business was open. How are you going to get 7,000 bugs? It's like the business is open, Austin. Don't mind if I do. I guess technically they're... Austin just like had a gun. Put all the bugs in the bag now. Come on. I just do a whole new Batman series. And it's like the Joker stealing all the bugs. But actually, it could be really fucked up because it could be like, I don't know, them releasing them with like a fucking virus and then they just release all the bugs everywhere. Like that could happen. I mean, it's terrifying. But like, I mean, I don't know. Why would you steal 7,000 bugs, including poisonous spiders? Why would you do that?
7,000 gifts to your friends and family.
Where's that gun, Austin? I want you to put it in my mouth and pull the trigger. But it's interesting. Like, why would you steal 7,000 fucking bugs? unless you weren't going to you weren't just going to keep them. And maybe you do. Maybe you have a bug fetish. Austin just goes, "Oh, is it poisonous? Oh, yeah, it is poisonous." Maybe just the light, like, spider crawl on your back is a turn on. Like it's like a feather, kind of, but it's like no. Absolutely no, Austin. Austin just pointed to his dick. No. You want to put that spider on your dick? Oh my God. Now that would be worth a lot of money. If I was into that, I'd be like, you got to pay me like $2,000.
I will take money to put a spider on my dick. I will accept money.
Well, that's fear factor. That's totally different, Austin. That's not sexual. What a weird thing, though. How scary is that? Like, someone just has 7,000 bugs that are poisonous and just somewhere. What is going on with the world? I mean, I did have a tarantula crawl in here, so I understand how fucking terrifying it is. But, Mac Miller died. Austin, you didn't even know him.
But he was a human.
Austin just goes, "Oh." I was like, you didn't even know who he was.
But he was a big person.
No, you didn't know who he was.
I heard he was a nice guy.
Yeah, from me. No. So, and it actually really made me sad. Like, there have been like David Bowie died and like Prince died, and I like really love them. But when I heard Mac Miller died, dude, I got really depressed. I don't really understand why, but I got really sad about it. Maybe it's because he's really young, and maybe it's because I really liked his albums, and especially The Divine Feminine. I was listening to that back and forth as I drove from California to Washington as I took care of my mom. And so I would just listen to his album on repeat. It's a 17-hour drive. What the fuck? So I fucking loved his music and his songwriting. He was such an, like, his music was so intimate. It was a very intimate experience, and I just really enjoyed him. So it made me so fucking sad. But it just also was like, it's all about, he died of a apparent overdose. I don't think the absolute toxology report is 100% back. But he's always been open about, like, using drugs, crystal meth, like, whatever. And how he's, like, overcoming it and in therapy and, like, all this kind of stuff. And, like, you hear his music and he's like, we're going to, like, self-care. That's, like, one on his new album. You know what I mean? And it's, like, how important it is to be in self-care. But I think what's even more important is you can even be in recovery. You can even be going to therapy. You can even be taking all the right steps, but you have these moments that are down still. And I think some people think that if you're down, it's bad. But the reality is, being down is part of life. I don't know a fucking person that hasn't been down before. And the key is to not hate on yourself when you're being down, which is sometimes what I get into. I do that fucking all the time. If I'm down, I'm mad at myself. Why the fuck are you down? What are you doing? Which doesn't help. Like, you wouldn't say that to your friend. If your friend's down, you'd be like, why the fuck are you down? If you are, you're being a shitty friend, by the way. But, like, there's something about, like, we all think that when we're down or when we're depressed or when we're sad or when we're blah, 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 that we're being dramatic. It's over. It's It's too much. You should be over it by now. Why did that trigger you? God, you and your triggers. Oh my God, why are you upset? You should be happy for that person. Why are you like, do you know what I mean? Like, that's what I do. Like, I fucking judge my sadness. I fucking judge my depression. Because I hate it. I hate it. So then that just adds it on top of whatever shit is already there, and it's not helping. But I also don't want to be complacent. I have this thing where I'm like, but there are times where you have to kind of push through, right? Like, there are times when you kind of have to push through your depression. Like, you have to get up anyways. You can't just be like, you know what? I'm depressed today. I'm going to be really nice and just not do anything. But then there are times where I feel like you still need to show up. You got to push through. It'll make you feel better. And it's doing both of those things, but in a balanced way. And I think I'm still trying to figure that out. And I definitely believe Mac Miller was trying to figure that out. Like, you can just like hear it in his whole album. His album is called Swimming. And you can just hear in the whole album him trying to figure this out and like balance it. Because you have to have both in order to have depth and in order to move forward. You can't just be happy and like I just rolled my eyes. If you're just not listening, I just rolled my eyes. You can't just be happy and then like I rolled my eyes because it's like bullshit. People who are like, this man had a career, had like a new album just dropped that got like really good reviews, was like in the industry with the best. You know what I mean? Like, doing great things. Even though he like broke up with Ariana Grande, you know, like he still had so much in his life. And I think that's the thing is like sometimes we can get focused on only one part of our lives that isn't going right when we forget how much actually is going right. You know what I mean? Even though you might be struggling financially, it's like, do you have good friends? If you don't have friends or you're struggling financially, you've got family. If you don't have those things, you've got your animals. If you don't have that, you have a job. If you don't have that, you've got me. You know what I mean? You've got this podcast to listen to you. And let me tell you, you got this podcast that is blessing you every week. So let's remember that. But you know what I mean? There's always something that you can focus on. And I find that when you focus on something that you're lacking or something that's bad in your life, it magnifies. Like, it magnifies in your brain. Not necessarily like the truth of it, but it magnifies in your brain. Because it magnifies in your brain, then become obsessed. And then all day you're thinking about it. Then a couple hours have gone by and you've been like thinking about this one thing and like, why aren't you this? Blah, blah, blah. And now you realize all these hours have gone by. And then you're talking to yourself like, oh my God, all these hours have gone by. What the fuck are you doing? Why aren't you doing this? Da, 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 da. Like, do you know what I'm saying? And the thing is, you got to break that, where you have to just be gentle. That's the fucking key. The key is just to be gentle to yourself every time. If 5 hours have gone by, then 5 hours has gone by. Maybe you didn't need to do anything. Maybe you just needed to be obsessed and like observe yourself and give yourself a break. And I don't know. But like shitting on yourself doesn't help, because then it leads you to like, oh, fuck it. I'm just a shitty person anyways. I'm just going to do shitty things anyways. Fuck it. I'm feeling shitty. I want to feel good. Fuck it. And at the end of the day, anyone who's doing drugs or whatever, they're only doing that to feel good. They do drugs to feel good, to feel better, to not feel like shit, to not feel like crap. They do drugs to feel good. So you can't even like shit on that person. They're just trying to feel good and feel better. And that's the only way they know how, based on their old patterns or whatever, you know? Like, even you, if you're like going back to drinking or going back to an old boyfriend or like whatever, you just want to feel good for a minute, you know? So you think of like the old ways with a boyfriend or something. And you're like, you know what? Maybe if we just did this one thing, you know? And then what's going on here? Like, the light is like shining down. Like, kind of bizarre. It goes in and out. I don't know. Maybe God is blessing this podcast, but it's very interesting. I'm doing this at a different day and time. I'm actually doing this on Sunday later on because I've got stuff to do tomorrow. So I'm kind of saying this stuff ahead of time. But anyways, it's fine. We'll just leave it. You know, the light is shining upon us, upon this little podcast here in Venice, California, in my little studio apartment with my little kitty and my little cat called Austin. And we are just out here dropping truth bombs, I guess. I say truth bomb because it's like, it's so frustrating to deal with somebody who's an addict. I've dealt with someone who's an addict. I was in a relationship. My last boyfriend was into shit. And it's really hard. It's really tough. But the key I find is to just love them, but also love yourself. And you love yourself by like not putting yourself in those types of situations. So, but you always just, I mean, to me, even no matter how pissed I was, I still had like this like unconditional love towards that person because they just want to feel good. That's what everyone does here on earth, is just wants to feel good. So anyways, you know, it's weird. Like, I don't even mean to go on this random tangent. Like, it's kind of interesting, but it's like, I feel like, and people are like, reach out to your friend, tell them you love them. I think that's always important, to reach out to a friend and tell them you love them and, excuse me, let them know that you care. But I think most importantly is for the person who's feeling bad to reach out. I feel like it's your job. It's not, don't put this on your friend. Well, my friend never reached out to me. Well, my friend was out there, blah, blah, blah. Well, my friend wasn't there. No. It's your job to reach out when you're ready, when you're feeling really low, if you need something. It's your job to say something. It is no one else's responsibility. And so I see like a lot of these rappers like, you guys just reach out to your friend, tell them that you love them, blah, blah, blah. And when you're in that state, like that depressive state, I mean, it's hard to reach out. It's definitely hard to reach out. It's hard to like go and you go in the bathroom, Austin? Go ahead, shut the door. He's like slowly closing the door. I'm like, you're being more distracting by doing that. Just shut the door. Go to the bathroom. God. Hurry up. But no, it's when you're in that sad state, it's so hard to reach out. But it's not anyone else's job to make you feel better. You got to know when you're feeling like, that's why I think understanding emotions is so fucking important. It's so important so that when these emotions come up, you don't get drowned by them. You don't get drowned out by them. You rise above it and look down at what the emotions are. Does that make sense? Like, not rise above it, like be a better person, you should rise above it. But like, you can step outside the bubble that is your emotion and look at it and be like, holy fuck, I'm really going at it right now. What's going on? What do I need to do? You know, and that's the thing, is that when no one is taught how to deal with grief, or when no one is taught how to deal with anything, then we don't know how to handle anything. And then we think it's bad. And then we think it's unnormal. And then we think it's, you know, something's wrong with you. And then you know what I mean? We start to beat up ourselves up because everyone else is having a good time. Why the fuck aren't you? And it's like, no, something's going on. We got to be like nice and gentle and like say things, and we have to recognize what emotions are and recognize what's happening, and also always know that it's just for a moment of time. It's not going to be there forever. It's going to be gone in a few days. Might be gone in a few months. Maybe you're going through something really fucking tough. But you got to always remember to like, that's why this is why it freaking pisses me off that like, no, it's not taught in schools. It really bothers me because parents aren't going to teach it either. Like, I mean, I'm sure there's some parents nowadays that will, but like it's not taught. It's not passed down from generation to generation to understand emotions. That's not what's going on. You know what I mean? So the more intelligently we look at emotion, more that we have emotional intelligence, the more we're going to be able to navigate through life so much easier. And even when that fucking shit storm comes, we know it's a shit storm and then it's temporary. And then we start questioning why, rather than you're an idiot for feeling this way. You're a dumb idiot, motherfuckers. Look at you, you crying. How dare you? Wow, you're depressed again. Jeez, get over it. Instead, we'll be like, whoa, why am I depressed again? What's going on? Why am I like thinking about this scenario over and over again? What's going on? Why am I blah, blah, blah over and on? Oh, Pee-Pee. Pee-Pee's little face is so cute. He's like sitting there and his eyes are closed and he's like kind of sitting and his cheeks looks really fluffy and his face looks really smashy. And I just really like that. Right, Pee-Pee? Pee-Pee. You get little Pee-Pee. And his ears are kind of moving around because he hears me, but he's not opening his eyes. And I really enjoy that. You know, I think that's the key is if you get a cat, get a little cat, talk to it. Let you know that get you out of your head. Right? You got to get yourself out of your motherfucking head. But yeah, I was pretty upset about Mac Miller. And then, you know, this week I had a couple exes reach out, or no, I had one ex reach out to me this week. And then I had another ex from a follower reach out to me about. And I was thinking about, like, should I fucking talk about this on this podcast? Like, there's like a part of me that's like, I'm so fucking done, like, not talking about stuff that I just want to spill tea for days. You know what I mean? I just want to drink tea for fucking days because I'm so fucking tired of, like, just nonsense. But then there's that side of me, because, you know, I'm all about, like, be in your truth, say what happened, blah, blah, blah. But then if I were to talk about my ex, it would be because I'm angry. And I want to talk about him because, like, you know what? Fuck you. This is what this guy did. Like, you know what I mean? To, like, kind of get back. And that's not productive. And I don't want to do that. I don't give a fuck if you hate my ex or not. Like, I don't like him. He's blocked from everything. I don't give a shit. You know what I'm saying? But there's like, I'm like, a follower reached out to a follower. I don't even know you. A follower reached out to me, you know, and was like talking about my ex, and was like, I think I met your ex. He said this. And I was like, what the fuck? And it's just something that I'm like, you know what, though? That's that petty bullshit. That's that crap that he would do all the time for fucking attention and then act like he's like so nice. And I'm like, you know what? I'm not giving it to you. I'm not giving it to you. So I'm going to give a little blurb here for all the women out there who like deal with shit like that and like want to expose motherfuckers, because there are points where I'm like, yes, like I'm so fucking tired of like behind the scenes shady bullshit. You know what I'm saying? I'm like so exhausted about it. But at the same time, fuck that guy. Like, he's in Washington. I'm here. Like, I don't give a fuck. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're not in my life. You never will be. I will never talk to you again. I won't even engage with you on anything. And because you're not worth it. You're not worth my time. You're not worth my effort. You're not worth my breath. And the reason why I'm bringing this up right now is to remind other women to not waste your breath or your time, because it matters. That little bit of energy, Like when those exes decide to come, I love that like meme. You know, there's like that little kitty and he's like going like this. He's like on his back. And then it's like has words that come up and it's like, bills. And then he like swats it away. And then it's like drama and he like swats it away. And like, you know what I mean? And I feel like that's what it is with my ex. Like my ex comes up, swap it away. Like, you know what I mean? Like I'm not dealing because my life's so much better without your bullshit. And if I engage in it, then I'm going back to that old pattern of like thinking I have to address something that I don't really have to. Unless I really feel strongly about. But it felt really, it triggered me. You know what I mean? I got triggered. And then I'm like, fuck that. I'm not getting, like, I had to call my friend and she pointed it out. Some really good things. Shout out to George or Jordan. And it made me feel good. I was like, I'm on a different life path. I'm on a different way. I'm going somewhere else. I'm not here. I'm not where you are. So I don't have to go through that drama bullshit anymore. You elevate. You start rising up. You start coming out. You start peeling off those old layers of like that past, right? Of all the crap with my dad and all those exes that were like the same way and like all that stuff. And I'm like, I'm not going to stay in this sticky mud anymore. Like I'm moving out of this way and you're coming back to test me. I know you're coming back to test me. The universe tested me on some level, right? And you just got to stay focused. You got to stay on your podcast. You got to stay on your job. You got to stay on your creations. You got to stay on it and keep going no matter what the jabber is on the right and the left. There's drama on the right and your left. People talking shit, this, blah, blah, blah. And you got to stay laser focused and move forward. And it's really tough to do at first when you're just learning to do that. Like, I didn't have parents that taught me that. You know what I mean? Like this is stuff I've had to learn. I've had to read books. I've had to go to therapy. I've had to like watch things that teach me this, talk about it in order to stay focused and stay on your game. So if there's anyone out there that's like getting distracted by some fucking friend bullshit or whatever coming back out of nowhere, let me tell you, it's just a test. You stay focused, stay forward, and keep going. You don't give that shit any of your brain, any of your cognitive jewels is what I would say. Because I'm dealing with I've got too much stuff. I've dealt with too much crap. Do you like know what I'm talking about? Like, I hope I hope someone's listening to me and like it resonates, you know? Like I'd like for it to resonate because I don't know. Sometimes I'm like, am I like the only one that thinks like this? I know I'm not. But sometimes when you're sometimes when you have such an old way of pattern of life, old friends, where you grew up, all that kind of stuff. Like I feel like Washington was like my old pattern of life, you know? And I have so many great friends up there and like I love them so much and I never hated that life at all. Like I really loved it. I enjoyed it when I was there, but I'm not there anymore. And so now I'm seeing growth in myself, in my mental health. Like a lot of shit happened when my parents died and like my uncle and like all that kind of stuff. Like I started to just really evaluate what's really important in life and evaluate what I really want to do. And like it makes you realize that like you are immortal and this time will come to an end. So what do you want your legacy to be? What do you want it? And right now I want my legacy to be burping for cash. Sorry. Can you imagine, Austin, if I died tomorrow and someone like looks me up and it's like Burping for Cash, her biggest podcast, like
she really opened up that fetish.
She really opened herself up through her mouth.
The burping community builds like a statue in your honor.
My God. And it's just me with like my mouth open, like with my face to the sky, just like.
I don't think they heard what I said.
He said if they build a statue in your honor. And I was like, yeah, my mouth was just burping to the sky. There's just like some candlelight vigil. And then instead of singing, people just start burping. They're like, joyful, joyful. I adore thee. God of glory, Lord. I don't even know if that's a song that you sing at a vigil, but that's my legacy. You guys, when I make it and they uncover these gems, I swear to God, when I make it in life, because we gotta put that out there. We're gonna make it. When we make it in life, let me put that, because I'm not gonna make it unless you make it. So we gotta make this together. When we make it in life, there's going to be some like archives that come up, and it might be one of these podcasts. All right. And you're going to be able to say, I knew her when. You know, you're going to be like, yep, I was there. She was talking that talk. Before she made it, she was walking that burp walk. She did whatever she had to do to get that coin for the cat call. And she did. So, anyways, Pee-pee, he's just so cute and cuddly. I just want to cuddle him. Anyways, man, I don't know if this was a good podcast or not. I can't tell I never know if anything's a good podcast or not. If you have any questions, if you have any concerns, if you have any thoughts, I love reading them. I like to understand you better. I like to hear your concerns because this is a talking forum. So if you disagree with me, you can disagree with me. Tell me why. Tell me what's up. You know what I mean? Like, that's fine. I just want to know. I'm always curious about you and your thoughts as well. Well, I love you so much. Thank you so much for joining another 9 Lives podcast. Please like, subscribe. Tag your mom, tag your dad. Maybe your dad wants a little burp sesh. Just let him know. I'm available. I'm very available.
Or your mom.
Or your mom. Tag your mom, tag your dad. I would love it if like a lesbian burp person, like that would be my niche. I would love that. That would make me feel so comfortable. If just a girl wanted me to talk to her and we would just burp, like I'm down for that. Like, I don't know why I would be more down for it. I feel like it's more comfortable for me because I'm not like a lesbian. So I feel like I couldn't even, like, I'm not scared of it, you know? But I would be so down to fulfill your lesbian burping fantasies. Anyways, like and subscribe. I love you guys so much, and we will see you next week. Bye-bye.
Pee-pee-pee.